lines. I have, like I said, guys, I have no idea what I'm doing here tonight when it comes to phone calls and when it comes to everything else that's associated with producing a live radio show. So no phone lines tonight. I apologize for that. Next week we'll be back Tuesday night, 7 to 9 Eastern Time, likely as long as, we'll be here 7 to 9 Eastern Time. Jose, depends if he's got a game or not. But
second half of the show. I got a game at 7 o'clock next week.
All right, no doubt. So we'll figure something out for our number one, possibly JMK or somebody. You know, somebody emailed me today, and I can't say who it is because I don't want to reveal anyone just yet. But they want to come on and give an interview with us, and it's a pretty big name. It's not Big Vito. He's been on here numerous times in the past, but pretty big name. Former TNA star, former WWE star, and been overseas quite a bit too. So he wants to give his first interview to me or to us on WZR Radio. So that will, trust me when I tell you, that'll draw some big ratings for WZR Radio. It's a pretty big name. A lot of people are wondering what's been up with. So we're going to bring him on here, I don't think next week, but in the near future here. So we'll get him on. Big hint in the chat room, too, by the way, but nonetheless. So chat room is WZROnline.com /chat. The official website of WZR Radio is WZROnline.com. No TNA Impact tapings this week and no SmackDown spoilers because it's Wednesday, not our normal Tuesday night show. How was the weekend, Jose, before we get into Monday Night Raw?
A lot of softball. Played another tournament. It's just been really busy. That's pretty much essentially what I've been kind of doing on my free time is just kind of playing those tournaments, coming back home, cleaning, and keeping myself occupied.
Awesome. My weekend, I didn't do much. We had it was a boxing fight on Saturday night. Went over to my buddy Dan's house and had a bunch of people over there. So we drank up and had a good time. Watched the Andre Berto fight and Kermit Cintron fight. 2 fights on one show. Not a very good night of boxing on Saturday. Sunday was kind of the day off, and Monday night the website crashed, and I've been busy working on database errors for that. So that's it. That was the weekend. What do you want to talk about? Let's talk about Monday Night Raw. Did you see Raw on Monday or no?
Yeah, I've seen it. I'm noticing a trend for me in the last 2 or 3 weeks where, I kind of sit down and watch some of the event, but I kind of fast forward some of it as well. It's just the show to me is I guess I'm on that stage where it's the show's getting kind of boring for me. So it's but I'm trying to maintain as much control as I can to watch the show and just kind of deal with what they're trying to give us.
Well, and I said this last week, there is another pro wrestling show on Thursday night.
Oh, boy, here we go.
It's called TNA Wrestling on Spike TV. It airs 9 to 11 on Thursday night. So I don't know, what are they going to have to do? Listen, you've got, we're going to have Taz, right? Well, they brought back Shane Douglas and Raven, who, not huge names, but back in the day, 2 guys that were there when the company started. Shane Douglas looks brutal these days, by the way. We have cheap plug here, photos at WZROnline.com. You guys actually, for all you TNA Impact fans, you guys saw him return last week on the show. But so they brought them back. They brought in Victoria last week. We've got Taz. Taz is about to make his debut here fairly soon. We've got Mr. Kennedy, who seems like, pretty much a lock. I don't think he wants to leave the wrestling business, so I would expect him, and TNA definitely wants him. That's a big acquisition for them. So you've got guys. What are they gonna? What do you've got Bobby Lashley that just came in, and he's not there right now. It's kind of on hold until after the fight with Bob Sapp. That's his biggest MMA fight to date. Bob Sapp is a beast. If you Google him, if you've never seen him before, he's a tank. So it's his biggest fight to date. So you've got all these big names coming in. I mean, what is it? I mean, will Mr. Kennedy or Taz maybe draw you in?
Hells no. As a matter of fact, like I explained to you before, when I was watching TNA is with AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels. I mean, when you didn't have those big type of names, and bringing in Kennedy and Taz, I mean, it's still not going to change, how I feel about TNA. It's just because how they write the shows and how they produce it. And the way how they produce it, I just feel kind of cheated out in some sort of way. And I don't mean about the wrestling, because if you're looking for wrestling, if you're looking for tag team, and if you're looking for X Division, then that is what you want to see. You want to see TNA wrestling. I mean, that's just the reality. If you want to lose some of that soap opera stuff that you see on Raw, then you want to watch TNA. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I'll plug it as best as it can, but it's just the writing for me is just, I don't know. It's just, I don't feel it.
I think the only problem that I really have with TNA, sure, some of the creative at times can be brutal to watch, but the same goes for WWE. And I think as far as WWE's creative team versus TNA's creative team, who's putting on the better product right now? I think Thursday nights. I think Impact, without a doubt. I mean, last week's Impact broadcast was from top to bottom. After that show ended, that was, in my opinion, a really good pro wrestling show. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I think the only problem I have with TNA is it's rushed, and you can see that when they do the editing. When it goes back to Nashville and they do the editing down there, it's very, very rushed. You know what I mean? Where they rush from one segment to the next segment, and then they come back from a commercial, and you can just tell, you can see the edits that are in the broadcast. And I don't know, it feels way too rushed for me. But other than that, I think the product, as far as the wrestling is concerned, they're creative. I mean, I think this Main Event Mafia storyline, I mean, they've created a faction. Let's remember that just a few years ago, they created that faction in Las Vegas when they did the live show. And no one had ever heard of the Main Event Mafia. And then they throw guys like Kurt Angle, Sting, Scott Steiner, Kevin Nash, Booker T, and they're big names. And they created a faction that's generated, quite a bit of interest. So I don't know. Well,
I mean, it's creating some sort of peak. I mean, it definitely is. I mean, anytime that you get a group of top A names like Kurt Angle and Kevin Nash and Sting and put them into an elite group, there's going to be talk. There's going to be an impact behind it. But, again, it's how you develop it, how you present it, and how it delivers. And sometimes those are kind of like the three elements that I look at it when I'm looking at a show. And sometimes with TNA, it's just I'm lost somewhere in between. I just don't, at least with Raw or WWE, I kind of know what I'm getting myself into. I kind of understand some of the storyline prospect that they deliver. But a lot of times, like I told you, like I just said 10 minutes ago, I'm losing kind of interest a little bit on what Raw is producing. And now, compared to SmackDown, I feel SmackDown is a little bit more of a wrestling show. It's more entertaining, maybe because they don't have the Triple H's of the world. Maybe they don't have the bigger names like John Cena's like we see on Raw, but the show is revolve around Edge, Chris Jericho, Jeff Hardy, and at one time in their careers, they were all mid-card wrestlers. Now they're top-tier wrestlers on SmackDown, which is a little bit more intriguing than what I see on Monday Night Raw. I mean, how many times can we see Randy Orton start Raw? 3 weeks in a row already?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's the reason why I praise TNA for what they're doing for this industry, because it gives opportunity for fans that are kind of tired of Raw and to switch over and watch TNA. And not only that, but look at their ratings. Their ratings are increased maybe, 8 to 10% in the last 30 days. So, they're gradually bringing in names like Taz, and Kennedy when he joins in. So they're gradually getting there. It's just how they develop the storylines. It takes away from the Chris Daniels versus AJ Styles match type of, or X division or the tag team division.
Well, they did Daniels versus Styles last week, which is great to see on Impact. I mean, that was awesome. They're doing that at the live events this week as well. Daniels versus Styles. Actually, they have Daniels working twice. It's Daniels versus Suicide, and then later on in the show he comes out and it's Daniels versus Styles. You know, another problem is, and maybe it's just this week because I mean. But the weekend house shows, they've been pretty stacked. But at last night's show, they only had, I think, 5 matches on the card, and out of the 5 matches, the same guy was in 2 of them. So it was like they only brought about 10 names, 10 talent to the show last night. I don't know if it was just because it's right during the middle of the week, because usually the weekend lineups there's at least a good 6 or 7 matches on the card, but last night it was only 5. I know a lot of guys came down with the flu. They were sent home last weekend, I believe. So that may have something to do with it. Guys like the Motor City Machine Guns who work TNA live events,